The man in the black suit knelt on the grass. His hands touched the cold marble headstone. A photograph of a young girl stared back at him. Her eyes were bright. Her smile was frozen in time. The cemetery was quiet except for the wind moving through the trees. "I'm sorry, Isabella," the man whispered. His voice cracked. "I couldn't protect you." His name was Vincent Romano. In the city, people whispered his name with fear. He controlled the docks, the shipments, the underground gambling rings. Politicians took his money. Police looked the other way. But none of that power had saved his daughter. 3 weeks ago, Isabella had been taken from her bedroom. The ransom note arrived the next morning. Vincent paid $2 million in cash. He followed every instruction. The kidnappers promised to return her unharmed. Instead, they sent him a location. A warehouse by the river. Vincent and his men found a body. Small. Covered with a white sheet. The medical examiner confirmed it was Isabella. Dental records matched. The case was closed. Vincent buried his daughter on a Tuesday. Rain poured from gray clouds. Hundreds attended the funeral. Most came out of fear, not respect. Vincent didn't care. His world had ended. Now he visited the grave every day. He brought flowers. He talked to the stone as if Isabella could hear him. His wife had left him years ago, unable to handle his life of crime. Isabella was all he had left. A shadow fell across the headstone. Vincent looked up. A girl stood 3 feet away. She was young, maybe 14. Her clothes were torn and dirty. Her hair was tangled. Mud streaked her face. She carried a plastic bag stuffed with bottles and cans. "What do you want?" Vincent's voice was cold. The girl stepped closer. Her eyes were dark and serious. "Sir, she is still alive." Vincent froze. His hand went to his jacket, where he kept a gun. "What did you say?" "Before we continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you lost everything, only to discover there was still hope?" This story is about to take a turn that will make you question everything you thought you knew about second chances. If you're the kind of person who believes in redemption and the power of never giving up, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what happens next will remind you why you should never stop fighting for the people you love. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single moment of what's coming. Fool. Your daughter, Isabella Romano. She's alive. Vincent stood slowly. His body blocked the headstone. "Who sent you? Who put you up to this?" "Nobody sent me. I saw her." "You're lying." Vincent's jaw clenched. "I buried my daughter. I saw the body." "You saw a body. Not her body." Vincent grabbed the girl's arm. His grip was tight. "You have 10 seconds to tell me who you're working for, or I throw you in the river." The girl didn't flinch. "I'm homeless. I sleep under the bridge near Merchant Street. 3 days ago, I saw men unloading a van. They took a girl into a building. She looked exactly like the picture on the news. The one from your daughter's funeral." Vincent's grip loosened. "Where?" "The old textile factory. Near the port. Building 17. Why should I believe you?" "Because I have nothing to gain by lying. And because you have nothing to lose by checking." Vincent stared at her. His mind raced. It could be a trap. A scheme to ambush him. But something in the girl's eyes seemed genuine. "What's your name?" Vincent asked. "Sophie." "Come with me, Sophie." Vincent led her to his car, a black Mercedes parked by the cemetery gates. His driver, Marco, stood smoking a cigarette. Marco's eyes widened when he saw the dirty girl. "Boss, who's this?" "Someone who might know where my daughter is." Marco dropped his cigarette. "What?" "Drive to Building 17 at the port. Now." The car sped through the city. Sophie sat in the back seat next to Vincent. She stared out the window. Vincent watched her carefully. "Tell me exactly what you saw," Vincent said. "It was late. Maybe 2 in the morning. I heard a van pull up. I was sleeping in a cardboard box nearby. I looked out and saw 4 men. They opened the back of the van. A girl was inside. Her hands were tied. They pulled her out. She tried to scream, but one of them covered her mouth. They dragged her into the building." "Did you see her face?" "Not clearly. It was dark. But I saw her hair. Long and black. And she was small. Like a child. Lots of girls have long black hair." The next morning, I found a bracelet on the ground. Right where they dragged her. It had a name engraved on it. "Isabella." Vincent's heart pounded. "Where's the bracelet?" Sophie reached into her pocket. She pulled out a silver chain with a small charm. Vincent took it with shaking hands. He recognized it immediately. He had given it to Isabella on her 10th birthday. How do I know you didn't steal this from her grave? Her grave is new. The flowers are fresh. The bracelet was covered in dirt and oil. It's been outside for weeks. Vincent examined the bracelet closely. Sophie was right. It was filthy, scratched, damaged. This hadn't come from a funeral. The car stopped in front of an abandoned industrial complex. Rusted metal buildings stretched in rows. Most had broken windows. Graffiti covered the walls. Building 17 is on the left, Marco said. Vincent opened his jacket. He checked his gun. Marco, stay with the car. Keep the engine running. Boss, you need backup. No time. If she's in there, every second counts. Vincent stepped out. Sophie followed him. You stay here too, Vincent said. I'm coming with you. I know which building. Vincent didn't argue. They moved quickly across the cracked pavement. The port was quiet. A few seagulls circled overhead. The smell of salt and oil filled the air. Sophie pointed to a building with a faded number 17 painted on the side. The main door was locked. Vincent kicked it. The old wood splintered. The door swung open. Inside was darkness. Vincent pulled out a flashlight. The beam cut through shadows. Old machinery lined the walls. Fabric scraps littered the floor. Everything was covered in dust. Where did they take her? Vincent whispered. Upstairs. There's a second floor. They found a metal staircase. Each step creaked under their weight. Vincent's gun was drawn. His finger rested on the trigger. At the top of the stairs was a hallway. 4 doors led off it. Vincent tried the first door. Empty. The second door was locked from the outside. Vincent's pulse quickened. He stepped back and kicked the door. It flew open. A girl sat on a mattress in the corner. Her hands were chained to a radiator. Her hair was dirty and tangled. Her face was thin, but her eyes were unmistakable. Isabella, Vincent breathed. The girl looked up. Her eyes widened. Papa. Vincent ran to her. He dropped to his knees. His hands touched her face, her hair, her shoulders. It's you. It's really you. Isabella started crying. I thought you forgot about me. I thought you believed I was dead. Never. Never. Vincent pulled out a knife. He worked on the chains. The metal was thick. He sawed at the links. Papa, they're coming back. They come every night. Who? Who did this? I don't know their names. But one of them wears a police uniform. Vincent's blood went cold. A cop. He comes to check on me. He brings food. He said they're going to move me soon. Somewhere far away. The chain broke. Isabella's hands were free. Vincent pulled her into his arms. She was lighter than he remembered. Thinner. She shook against him. We need to go. Now. Vincent lifted Isabella. She wrapped her arms around his neck. Sophie stood in the doorway. Someone's coming. Vincent heard it too. Footsteps on the stairs. Voices. At least 2 men. Is there another way out? Vincent asked. Sophie shook her head. Only the stairs. Vincent set Isabella down. He positioned himself in front of the door. His gun was raised. Get behind me. Both of you. The footsteps grew louder. A man's voice echoed in the hallway. Check the room. Make sure she's still secure. The door swung open. A man in a leather jacket stepped inside. His eyes went to the empty mattress. Then to Vincent. Who the hell are you? Vincent fired. The bullet hit the man in the shoulder. He screamed and fell backward. A second man appeared in the doorway. He wore a police uniform. He reached for his gun. Vincent fired again. The bullet struck the wall near the cop's head. The cop dove for cover. Run! Vincent shouted. Isabella and Sophie bolted past him into the hallway. Vincent followed, firing twice more to keep the cop pinned. They reached the stairs. Isabella stumbled. Sophie caught her arm. Keep moving. Vincent urged. They crashed down the metal stairs. Behind them, the cop was shouting into a radio. All units, officer needs assistance. Suspect is armed. They burst through the main door into daylight. Marco had the car door open. Get in. Isabella and Sophie jumped into the back seat. Vincent followed. The car screeched away from the building. In the rearview mirror, Vincent saw the cop run out, his gun drawn. Drive to the safe house on Elmore Street, Vincent commanded. Boss, what's happening? The police are involved. We can't trust anyone. The car wove through traffic. Vincent held Isabella close. She buried her face in his chest. Sophie sat quietly, watching through the rear window. We're clear, Marco said after 10 minutes. No one's following. Vincent exhaled. He looked down at Isabella. How long have they kept you there? I don't know. Weeks. They took me from my bed. They drugged me. When I woke up, I was in that room. Did they hurt you? They hit me when I screamed. But mostly they just kept me locked up. They said they were waiting for something. For you to believe I was dead. Vincent's jaw tightened. Whose body did they bury? I don't know. They talked about another girl. Someone who looked like me. They said the plan worked perfectly. Vincent's mind spun. Someone had orchestrated this. They had kidnapped Isabella, killed another child to fake her death, and kept his daughter hidden. But why? What was the endgame? The car pulled up to a small house on a quiet street. It looked ordinary, like any other home in the neighborhood. But Vincent owned it under a false name. Only a few trusted people knew about it. They went inside. The house was sparsely furnished. Vincent locked the door. He pulled the curtains closed. Marco, get food and water. And medical supplies. Check her for injuries. Marco nodded and left. Vincent turned to Sophie. You saved my daughter's life. Why? Sophie shrugged. I saw something wrong. I did something about it. You could have been killed. I've been in danger before. I know how to survive. Isabella sat on the couch. She looked at Sophie. Thank you. Sophie smiled slightly. You're welcome. Vincent knelt in front of Isabella. I need you to tell me everything you remember. Every detail. Every person you saw. Every word you heard. Isabella nodded. She took a shaky breath. There were 4 men at first. They wore masks. But later, when they thought I was too scared to remember, they took the masks off. One was young, maybe 20. He had a tattoo on his neck. A snake. Another was older, bald, with a scar on his cheek. The third was the one in the police uniform. I heard them call him Detective Harris. The 4th man only came once. He was in charge. The others were afraid of him. What did he look like? Tall. Gray hair. Expensive suit. He had a ring on his finger. Gold with a red stone. Vincent's stomach dropped. He knew that ring. He had seen it 100 times. At meetings. At dinners. At funerals. The ring belonged to Anthony DeLuca. Vincent's oldest friend. His business partner. The man he trusted more than anyone. Are you sure? Vincent asked quietly. Yes. He stood right in front of me. He told the others to keep me alive until the time was right. He said he needed you broken. He said once you were destroyed, he would take everything. Vincent stood. His hands clenched into fists. Anthony. The man who had stood beside him at Isabella's funeral. Who had put his hand on Vincent's shoulder and promised justice. Who had helped him run the organization for 15 years. Betrayal cut deeper than any knife. Marco returned with bags of groceries and a first aid kit. Vincent took the kit. He carefully cleaned Isabella's wrists where the chains had rubbed them raw. She winced but didn't cry. Why would he do this? Isabella asked. Vincent didn't answer immediately. His mind was calculating. Anthony wanted power. He wanted control of the organization. With Vincent broken and grieving, Anthony could step in. Take over the operations. Claim leadership. But Vincent wasn't broken anymore. And now he knew the truth. Papa, Isabella pressed. Some people want things they don't deserve, Vincent said quietly. And they'll hurt anyone to get them. Sophie spoke up from the corner of the room. What are you going to do? Vincent looked at her. Then at Isabella. His daughter was alive. That changed everything. I'm going to end this, Vincent said. Tonight. Vincent made 3 phone calls. The first was to his most loyal enforcer, a man named Sal. Sal had been with Vincent for 20 years. If anyone could be trusted, it was him. I need you at the Elmore house, Vincent said. Bring Luca and Tony. Tell no one else. If anyone asks, you're going to check on a shipment. Understood, boss. The second call was to his lawyer. Draw up papers transferring all my assets to Isabella Romano. Effective immediately. Bring them to me tonight. Vincent, what's going on? Just do it. The third call was to Anthony DeLuca. Vincent, how are you holding up? Anthony's voice was smooth. Concerned. Fake. I need to talk. Can you meet me at the warehouse on 5th Street? In 2 hours. Of course. Whatever you need. Come alone. This is personal. I understand. Vincent hung up. His hand shook with rage. He had invited Anthony to the warehouse where they had made their first deal together. Where they had celebrated their biggest successes. Now it would be where their partnership ended. Isabella watched him from the couch. You're going to fight him, aren't you? I'm going to make sure you're safe. That's all that matters. But you could get hurt. Vincent knelt beside her. I've lived a dangerous life. I've made a lot of mistakes. But you are not one of them. You are the only good thing I've ever done. And I will protect you no matter what. Tears filled Isabella's eyes. I don't want to lose you again. You won't. I promise. Sal arrived with Luca and Tony. Vincent briefed them quickly. He told them about Isabella. About the fake death. About Anthony's betrayal. The three men listened in stunned silence. I always knew Anthony was ambitious, Sal said. But this? Kidnapping a child? Faking her death. He wanted me destroyed, Vincent said. He wanted to take over while I was too broken to fight back. What's the plan? Luca asked. Anthony thinks he's meeting me alone at the warehouse. But you three will be there. Hidden. When he confesses, you'll be my witnesses. Then we deal with him. What about Detective Harris? Tony asked. If a cop is involved, this goes deep. We'll handle Harris after. One snake at a time. Vincent turned to Sophie. You've done enough. Marco will take you wherever you want to go. I'll give you money. A fresh start. Sophie shook her head. I want to see this through. That girl in the building could have been me. Kids like us, we disappear all the time. Nobody cares. Nobody looks for us. But you looked for your daughter. You didn't give up. I want to see you win. Vincent studied her. Despite her youth and her circumstances, Sophie had courage. Integrity. Qualities rare in his world. All right. You can stay. But you stay here with Marco and Isabella. No arguments. Sophie nodded. Vincent checked his watch. 1 hour until the meeting. He loaded 2 extra magazines for his gun. Sal, Luca, and Tony did the same. If things go wrong, Vincent said, if I don't make it out, you protect Isabella. You get her far away from this city. You give her a normal life. It won't come to that, Sal said firmly. But if it does, you promise me. We promise, boss. Vincent hugged Isabella one more time. She clung to him. Come back to me, Papa. I will. Vincent and his men left the safe house. They drove in 2 cars to the warehouse on 5th Street. The building was dark. Abandoned machinery filled the main floor. Perfect for an ambush. Or a confession. Sal, Luca, and Tony positioned themselves behind crates and old equipment. Vincent stood in the center of the floor. A single light hung from the ceiling above him. He checked his phone. Anthony would arrive any minute. Headlights flashed through the dirty windows. A car pulled up outside. The engine stopped. A door opened and closed. Footsteps approached. Anthony DeLuca entered the warehouse. He wore his usual expensive suit. His gray hair was perfectly styled. The gold ring with the red stone gleamed on his finger. Vincent, my friend. Anthony's voice echoed in the empty space. You sounded troubled on the phone. What's wrong? Vincent didn't move. I found something today. Something that changed everything. Oh, what's that? My daughter. Anthony's expression didn't change. But his eyes flickered. Just for a second. What do you mean? Isabella is gone. No. She's alive. She's been alive this whole time. Anthony spread his hands. Vincent, I know this is hard. Grief can make us see things that aren't there. Maybe you should talk to someone. A professional. Cut the act, Anthony. I found her. In a building by the port. Chained up. Waiting to be moved. Anthony's smile faded. That's impossible. Is it? Because she told me everything. She described the men who took her. She described you. Anthony's hand moved toward his jacket. Vincent's gun was already drawn. Don't, Vincent said coldly. Anthony froze. His eyes darted around the warehouse. Looking for exits. Looking for backup. It's just us, Vincent said. Like old times. Anthony slowly raised his hands. All right. Let's talk about this. Talk. You kidnapped my daughter. You killed another child to fake her death. You made me bury an empty coffin. And you did it all to take what's mine. It's not personal, Vincent. It's business. Business. Vincent's voice rose. You tortured a child for business? I didn't torture anyone. She was fed. Sheltered. She was a means to an end. And the girl you killed? Was she also a means to an end? Anthony shrugged. Collateral damage. She was a runaway. Nobody would miss her. Vincent's finger tightened on the trigger. Rage flooded through him. He wanted to shoot Anthony right there. End it quickly. But he needed the truth. All of it. Who else is involved? Vincent demanded. You think I'm going to give you names? You're going to tell me everything, or I'll make sure you die slowly. Anthony laughed. You won't shoot me, Vincent. You need me. Without me, half the organization falls apart. The organization doesn't matter anymore. Only my daughter matters. That's where you're wrong. You built an empire. You can't just walk away. Watch me. Anthony's expression hardened. You're weak, Vincent. You always have been. Sentiment makes you vulnerable. Your daughter is your weakness. I saw that years ago. That's why this plan was so easy. Easy. You think this was easy? I knew you'd pay any ransom. I knew you'd follow every instruction. And I knew when you found that body you'd break. You'd stop caring about the business. About power. About anything. And when you were at your lowest, I'd step in. I'd take control. Everyone would see me as the strong one. The leader who could actually get things done. And Detective Harris? How much did you pay him? Harris is ambitious. He wanted a promotion. A position in organized crime unit. I gave him money and a promise. In return, he made sure the body was identified as Isabella. He closed the case. No questions asked. Vincent's jaw clenched. How many others? Enough. Cops, judges, politicians. People who know which side to be on. You destroyed my life for power. I gave you a gift, Vincent. I gave you a reason to let go. You could have retired. Grieved your daughter. Lived out your days in peace. But you couldn't do that, could you? You had to keep digging. Keep fighting. Because I'm her father. I'll never stop fighting for her. Anthony sighed. Then you're a fool. Pause for just a second. We're at the turning point. The betrayal has been revealed. The enemy is exposed. But here's the thing, most people give up right before the breakthrough. They stop fighting right before the victory. If you're still watching this, it means you're not like most people. You understand that the best stories and the best lives are built by those who refuse to quit. Show me you're one of those people. Hit the subscribe button. Because the transformation you're about to witness in the next few minutes will change how you see loyalty, family, and what it truly means to protect what matters. Don't miss the ending. You've come too far. He moved fast. His hand went to his jacket. He pulled a gun. Vincent fired first. The bullet hit Anthony in the chest. Anthony stumbled backward. His gun clattered to the floor. Sal, Luca, and Tony emerged from their hiding spots. Guns drawn. Aimed at Anthony. Anthony fell to his knees. Blood spread across his white shirt. He looked up at Vincent. You actually shot me. You left me no choice. This doesn't end here. There are others. They'll come for you. For Isabella. Then I'll deal with them too. Anthony coughed. Blood appeared on his lips. You can't protect her forever. I can try. Anthony's eyes glazed over. He slumped to the side. His breathing stopped. Vincent lowered his gun. His hand shook. He had killed before. Many times. But this was different. This was someone he had trusted. Someone he had considered a brother. It's done, Sal said quietly. No, Vincent replied. It's just beginning. We need to find everyone Anthony was working with. Every cop. Every traitor. We clean house. What about the body? Luca asked. Make it disappear. Quietly. Vincent walked out of the warehouse. The night air was cold. He stood by his car for a long moment. His phone buzzed. A text from Marco. Isabella is asking for you. Vincent drove back to the safe house. When he entered, Isabella ran to him. She threw her arms around his waist. You came back, she whispered. I'll always come back. Sophie watched from the couch. Is it over? The first part is, Vincent said. But there's more work to do. Over the next 3 days, Vincent and his men moved methodically. They identified everyone connected to Anthony's conspiracy. Detective Harris was the first. Sal and Luca found him at his apartment. They didn't kill him. Instead, they gathered evidence. Recordings of conversations with Anthony. Bank statements showing payoffs. Photos of Harris at the textile factory. Vincent sent everything to the FBI. Anonymously. Within hours, federal agents arrested Harris. The news broke the next morning. A decorated detective accused of corruption, kidnapping, and murder. The story dominated every channel. 2 more cops were arrested. Then a city councilman. Then a judge. The investigation spread like wildfire. Vincent stayed in the shadows. He made sure nothing traced back to him. Isabella stayed at the safe house. She asked questions. About what her father did. About why people feared him. Vincent answered honestly. I've done bad things, he told her. I've hurt people. Stolen. Killed. I built a life on crime. And for a long time, I thought that power was all that mattered. But when I thought I lost you, I realized none of it meant anything. You are the only thing that matters. Are you going to stop? Isabella asked. Being a crime boss? Vincent nodded. I'm getting out. I'm transferring everything to trusted people who can run things without me. We're going to leave the city. Start over somewhere new. Just the two of us? If that's what you want. Isabella looked at Sophie, who was sitting by the window. What about her? Sophie glanced over. I can take care of myself. You don't have to, Isabella said. You saved me. You're part of this now. Vincent studied Sophie. Isabella's right. You risked your life. You could have walked away. But you didn't. If you want, you can come with us. I can make sure you have a home. An education. A real future. Sophie's eyes widened. Why would you do that? Because you deserve it. And because I owe you everything. Sophie was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay, I'll come with you. Isabella smiled. For the first time in weeks, she looked genuinely happy. 2 weeks later, the three of them left the city. Vincent had sold most of his assets. He kept enough money to live comfortably, but not lavishly. They moved to a small town in Montana. Mountains surrounded them. The nearest city was an hour away. Vincent bought a house with a big yard. Isabella enrolled in the local school. She made friends quickly. She joined the soccer team. She laughed again. Sophie enrolled too. She struggled at first, having missed years of education. But she was smart, determined. She caught up fast. Isabella helped her with homework. The two girls became inseparable. Like sisters. Vincent found work as a carpenter. It was honest labor. Simple. He built furniture. Fixed broken things. His hands, which had once held guns and signed orders for violence, now created something useful. At night, he sat on the porch and watched the sunset. Isabella and Sophie would join him. They talked about their days. About school. About dreams for the future. One evening, Isabella asked, Do you miss it? Your old life. Vincent shook his head. I don't miss the fear. The constant looking over my shoulder. The wondering who would betray me next. I miss the power sometimes. The feeling of control. But then I look at you, and I realize I have something better. I have you. I have a real life. Do you think they'll ever find us? Sophie asked. Maybe. But I'm ready if they do. I'll protect this family no matter what. We're a family? Sophie said softly. Vincent nodded. If you want to be. Tears filled Sophie's eyes. I never had a real family before. Isabella took her hand. You do now. The months passed. Winter came and covered the mountains in snow. Isabella and Sophie built snowmen in the yard. They went sledding on the nearby hills. Vincent taught them how to chop wood and build fires. Spring arrived. The snow melted. Flowers bloomed. Vincent planted a garden. Isabella and Sophie helped. They grew tomatoes, lettuce, carrots. They learned patience. They learned that good things take time. One afternoon, a car pulled up to the house. Vincent tensed. His hand went to the gun he kept hidden. But when the door opened, it was Sal. Boss, Sal said. I'm not your boss anymore, Vincent replied. Old habits. Sal smiled. I came to tell you it's done. All of Anthony's people are gone. Arrested, disappeared, or decided to retire. The organization is under new leadership. People who won't come after you. And Harris? He cut a deal. He's testifying against everyone. He'll spend the rest of his life in witness protection. Or prison. Whichever comes first. Vincent exhaled. Thank you, Sal. I also came to give you this. Sal handed him an envelope. Vincent opened it. Inside was a check. The amount made his eyes widen. Your share of the final deals, Sal explained. Before everything was liquidated. It's clean money. Legal. You've earned it. Vincent stared at the check. It was more than enough to secure Isabella and Sophie's futures. College funds. Investments. Security. I don't know what to say. Say you'll live a good life. That's all any of us want for you. Sal left. Vincent stood holding the check. Isabella and Sophie came out of the house. Who was that? Isabella asked. An old friend. Is everything okay? Vincent nodded. Everything is perfect. That night, Vincent sat down with both girls. He showed them the check. This is for your futures. College. Whatever you want to do. Wherever you want to go. You'll have the means to chase your dreams. Isabella hugged him. I want to be a doctor. I want to help people. Sophie said. I want to be a lawyer. I want to fight for kids who don't have anyone. Vincent smiled. Then that's what you'll be. Years passed. Isabella graduated high school with honors. She was accepted to medical school. Sophie graduated a year later. She was accepted to law school. Both girls left for their respective universities, but they came home every holiday. Vincent continued his quiet life. He built furniture that people in town loved. He became known as a kind man, a good neighbor. No one knew about his past, and he preferred it that way. One summer evening, Isabella and Sophie returned home. Both were in their 20s now. Beautiful, confident, successful. They sat on the porch with Vincent. The sunset painted the sky orange and pink. "I got my acceptance letter," Isabella said. "I'm starting my residency at Johns Hopkins." "That's incredible," Vincent said. "And I passed the bar exam," Sophie added. "I'm joining a non-profit that helps homeless youth." Vincent's eyes filled with tears. "I'm so proud of you both." "We wouldn't be here without you," Isabella said. "Or without each other," Sophie added. Vincent looked at the two young women who had become his whole world. One was his daughter by blood. The other was his daughter by choice. Both had taught him what really mattered in life. "I need to tell you something," Vincent said. "I've lived a long life. Most of it was wasted. I chased power, money, respect, and I lost sight of what was real. When I thought I lost you, Isabella, I realized how empty my life had become. But then Sophie came along. She risked everything to tell me the truth. She gave me a second chance. And together, you both gave me a reason to change. To be better." "You are better," Isabella said. "I try. Every day I try. And I want you both to know something. The life I lived before, the things I did, they don't define me anymore. You define me. Your kindness. Your courage. Your compassion. That's my legacy now." Sophie wiped her eyes. "You gave me a home when I had nothing. You gave me a future when I thought I'd never have one." "You gave yourself a future," Vincent corrected. "You worked hard. You never gave up. I just opened a door. You walked through it. We both walked through it," Isabella said, taking Sophie's hand. The three of them sat in comfortable silence, watching the sun disappear behind the mountains. The world was quiet, peaceful, safe. Vincent thought about the man he used to be. The violence, the fear, the constant struggle for control. That man was gone, buried in the past. The man he was now was simpler, happier. He had learned that power meant nothing if you had no one to share your life with. That money couldn't buy back lost time. That the only thing worth fighting for was the people you loved. Isabella leaned her head on his shoulder. "I love you, Papa. I love you too, sweetheart." Sophie sat on his other side. "Thank you for saving me." "You saved me first," Vincent said. As the stars began to appear in the darkening sky, Vincent thought about that day in the cemetery. The day a homeless girl had whispered impossible words. Words that had seemed like a cruel joke. Words that had turned out to be the truth. "She is still alive." Those words had given him everything back. His daughter. His purpose. His soul. And in return, he had given that homeless girl a family. A future. A chance to be more than what the world expected. They had saved each other. And in doing so, they had built something beautiful. Something real. A family forged not by blood or circumstance, but by choice. By courage. By love. Vincent looked up at the stars. He had spent so many years living in darkness. But now, surrounded by the two people who mattered most, he finally understood what light felt like. The past couldn't be erased. The sins couldn't be undone. But the future was unwritten. And for the first time in his life, Vincent Romano believed that future could be good. Not because of power. Not because of money. But because of love. And that, he realized, was the only thing worth living for. So here's my question for you. What's your second chance going to look like? See, this story isn't just about a mafia boss and a homeless girl. It's about all of us. It's about the moments when we're broken, when we think everything is lost, and when a whisper of hope changes everything. If this story touched something in you, if it reminded you that it's never too late to choose love over power, family over pride, and redemption over revenge, then do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel. Because every week, I bring you stories like this. Stories that don't just entertain you, but transform the way you see the world. Stories that remind you what really matters. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's build a community of people who believe in second chances. I'll see you in the next story. And remember, no matter how dark things get, there's always hope. You just have to be brave enough to listen when it whispers. The night grew darker. The three of them eventually went inside. Vincent locked the door. He checked the windows. Old habits died hard. But he wasn't afraid anymore. He had something worth protecting. And he would do whatever it took to keep his family safe. As he turned off the lights and headed to bed, Vincent paused at the photographs on the wall. Isabella's graduation. Sophie's first day of college. A picture of all three of them on Christmas morning, laughing and happy. These were the moments that mattered. These were the memories worth keeping. Vincent smiled. He had been given a second chance. Not many people got that. He wouldn't waste it. He closed his eyes and fell asleep, knowing that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new joys, new opportunities to be the man his daughters believed him to be. A man who had walked away from darkness. A man who had chosen love over power. A man who had learned that the greatest strength wasn't in controlling others, but in protecting the ones you loved. And in the end, that was the only lesson that truly mattered. Because life isn't measured by the power you hold or the fear you inspire. It's measured by the love you give and the people you lift up along the way. Vincent Romano had finally learned that lesson, and he would carry it with him for the rest of his days. The story that began in a cemetery with a whispered secret had transformed into something beautiful. A broken man had found redemption. A lost girl had found her way home. And a homeless child had found a family. 3 lives, intersecting in the most unlikely way, had created something extraordinary. Hope, second chances, and a future worth living for.